You know, I could really go for some cheese curds right about now. Oh, the 80s. You know, this one's going to be a little difficult to show you everything because, well, yeah.
They watched our planet emerge from the cosmos, waited as life developed, moving toward Earth, stalking their prey, devouring worlds in their quest.
Hot off the success of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, director Tobe Hooper was approached by Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus of the infamous Cannon Films to direct a film adaptation of the novel The Space Vampires. Cannon Films, my heroes, the studio that brought us such joys as Ninja 3 The Domination, Invasion USA, Missing in Action 2, Masters of the Universe, Mac and Me, Cobra, and much, much more. Please see Electric Boogaloo, the wild untold story of Cannon Films. It's my favorite documentary ever, and it changed my life, and this company decided to change the title from Space Vampires to Lifeforce because they thought Space Vampires sounded too schlocky. Colin Wilson's novel was adapted into a screenplay by Dan O'Bannon and John Jacob. Dan O'Bannon worked on such films as Alien, Blue Thunder, Heavy Metal, and Return of the Living Dead. The movie is scheduled to take 17 weeks to shoot, and yet took 22 weeks to complete. It made $11.5 million against a budget of $25 million. Oof. While it was a flop in '85, it has a huge cult following today. Let's see how it's held up. After we get the fantastic opening score by Henry Mancini, we are introduced to the very British spaceship Churchill, because British limey poppycock and bullocks were already taken.
Poppycock. Poppycock.
But of course, Steve Railsback is the captain because this is an American-British space expedition. At the tail end of Halley's Comet, we find a giant space wang.
What's 150 miles long?
No. That's an artichoke.
Yeah, sure. Despite not being able to contact Mission Control or Houston, Captain America, aka Steve Railsback, decides to go in because they won't get another chance for another 76 years. So they enter the space wang.
Well, if you must know, it's an artichoke.
Through the space butthole. Once they get inside, they see a giant collection of bats. This is seriously one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. This isn't a matte painting or a green screen effect either. This is an actual set that was built for this scene. It's like the Sistine Chapel of sci-fi horror movie sets. Of course, all the bats are dead as chicken nuggets, and just as they bag one of the fluidless specimens, the top of the giant space artichoke...
I don't know. It's a space wang.
Oh, come on!
Son of a bitch. I'm afraid.
The big space umbrella thingy begins to collapse. Another chamber opens, revealing the chamber crystal room, which is where we find 3 naked people.
Well, that's a start.
Yeah, keep going. We want to see naked chicks.
Oh yeah, this one is full of gratuitous nudity. That's why this video can't be longer.
That's what she said.
We find 2 dudes and 1 Matilda May. Captain Railsback and his search party decide to take the specimens back to the ship. Flash forward to Mission Control, who has lost contact with Churchill, so they send the Columbia shuttle to go rescue it. The Columbia finds the burned up remains of some of the crew and 3 naked bodies encased in crystal. Upon return to Earth, the Space Center in England, one of the not-so-crystal cases mysteriously opens, and it just happens to be our space girl. Our first victim is curiously a security guard. Or curious under a spell? Apparently no man can take their eyes off her.
Boobs. I just want to say that again. Boobs.
Of course, she wakes up and we quickly see that what the word life force means. That's right, she literally sucks the life right out of you, leaving behind a dried out, lifeless corpse. And might I add, security at the English Space Center is remarkably light for a place that holds 3 fucking aliens. Her powers kind of change when the script needs her to. She can kind of dispatch an electrical charge out of her hands, which can knock out security guards and break glass, and she casually walks out of the research center naked as the day she was born. Also, the other two vampires wake up eventually and attack the security guards, though one of them actually jumps into one of the guards unnoticed by anyone. By jump, we mean one of the powers, meaning that the vampires can actually inhibit another body, like a possession, sort. At this point, the SAS sends in Colonel Colin Kane, played by Peter Firth, to clean up the national security mess. Meanwhile, Railsback escape shuttle is recovered with him inside. Now the only survivor of the mission, he tells his story of how the crew slowly destroyed each other, and he started the fire to destroy all the specimens. Steve Railsback also has a deep psychic connection with Space Girl. He can share what she sees and feels. Here's where the movie gets weird. As I mentioned, Space Girl kind of changes powers when the script calls for it. One of her powers is an ability to jump into another body and take control. So he has a really bad dream and reveals that she's adopted the body of a nurse who works at an insane asylum. And, well, masochism, voyeurism.
Despite appearances, this woman is a masochist. An extreme masochist. She wants me to force the name out of her. She wants me to hurt her. I can see the images in her mind. Do you want to stay? Otherwise, wait outside!
Not at all. I am a natural voyeur.
Because why not? Knock yourself out. Colonel Kane seems to like it. And the insane asylum is of course ran by Patrick Stewart. After a touch from Patrick Stewart, Railsback realizes that he is in fact Space Girl, in hiding. After knocking him out with 2 heavy doses of sodium pentothal, the big reveal is that these creatures use Steve Railsback's thoughts and desires in order to conquer our species. Also, Space Girl wants Railsback to be a vampire too. Railsback wants no part of this, but that won't stop one of the most awkward kisses in cinematic history from happening. What happens next is Patrick Stewart introduces us to telekinesis, and everything in the room starts spinning around a pillar of light before Colonel Kane shoves 2 more syringes of sodium pentothal into Patrick Stewart. They then load him into a helicopter. Soon they receive a phone call in the helicopter from a scientist dude who specializes in death, who reveals, via exposition, that after being attacked by one of the escaped vampire guys and the security guard, he killed him by shoving an iron stake into the area just below the heart. Apparently, the vampire legends originally were based on these creatures who have visited us before in the past. Then we get a really cool effect where Patrick Stewart and one of the victims starts bleeding out of the head and forms an apparition made of blood. Then Steve Railsback reveals that it was actually him that let Space Girl out and sabotaged the shuttle and the crew to keep her from reaching Earth. Also, he's deeply in love with the Space Girl to the point he's terrified of it. Then you get to see where the budget of this movie went, because now we get a British zombie apocalypse in the middle of our vampire movie. And the effects are super badass. Also, they discover from Steve Railsback magic transforming plot armor that the Outbreak is harvesting life forces to be collected in the giant space artichoke, hovering above Earth, and for reasons of space magic, Space Girl needs to mate with Steve Railsback to complete her transformation and send souls up to the ship. Space Girl is actually waiting in an old Gothic cathedral, which is actually pretty cool from a visual perspective. Also, we get to see the stake actually kill a vampire rather than hearing about it on the phone. So then Railsback and Space Girl are making out in the nude when Railsback asks her, why are you doing this to me? And she says, because you are one of us, and you always have been. Kane then throws Steve the stake. Steve Railsback shoves the stake into himself and Space Girl at the same time. The Lifeforce sucking stops, and the Space Wang flies off into the stars. Roll credits. Lifeforce suffers from a lot of scenes that lack explanation. A lot of powers are put into play without setting up the rules of the universe. The theatrical cut was significantly shorter, which probably made it even more confusing to audiences. However, what carries it are performances. Everyone is playing it straight and making everything seem totally realistic. The score and special effects are big-budget Hollywood science fiction style, while at its core is a very basic grindhouse-style movie mixed with a bunch of Hammer film-style gothic vampire horror. It's fucking awesome that a movie this ambitious was made. I give it no less than 5 out of 5 cheese curds. It's easily my favorite film in the Canon catalog. I recommend picking up the Scream Factory Blue release as soon as you can. I'm Adam for Raiders of the Lost Flicks. Remember, if it's a bad movie, we want to know about it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. Please remember to depress that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you'll be the first to know when new content is published. Please visit raidersofthelostflicks.com for more hilarious entertainment and links to all of our social media platforms. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. As little as $1 a month supports our worldwide digs for more Lost Flicks. Thank you, and have a groovy day.